Kim had an emergency? Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just wondered.
Thank you. So, this is going to be added to the agenda. It's just this. And then this is the settlement stuff. I just added yesterday. They put this back on the list. So there's 5 for the settlement if you like.
Should I do something wrong?
No. Okay, good. This is the, we forgot to put this on the list.
Drinking?
Cheers. Pushed it.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'll call the April 11th, 2023 regular meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order. Please stand for the pledge. Calling for any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, before we get to that.
You have an amendment?
Yes, we have an amendment of the agenda on something that came up at the last minute. Under the Sunshine Act, the township is allowed to amend the agenda prior to the beginning of the meeting so that the supervisors would be able to vote on this matter. This is a matter that relates to a men's locker replacement project for the Mill Creek Police Department. If you may recall, this was a scenario where something had been approved a few weeks ago, but it turned out that the lockers that were being considered didn't quite meet the specifications, so they had to redo that. So the recommendation would be to move to add this to the agenda as the last item under bids and quotes, and I would remind that the secretary will amend the agenda and have it posted within 24 hours. So I would make that recommendation to add this to the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion to add this to the agenda?
So moved?
Second?
Okay, Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next up, public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning. Anyone wish to comment on those items? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from our March 28th, 2023 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Approval of the bills. Any questions or comments on the current batch of bills to pay?
None here. I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next up, we have a public hearing on a petition requesting a change in zoning classification. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, before we get started with the actual hearing, I just wanted to state what the rules are by which the supervisors follow for purposes of considering this request. The authority for the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to have to hear a request for rezoning is derived from Section 909.1B of the Municipal Planning Code. That section provides that the governing body shall have exclusive jurisdiction to hear and render final adjudications in the following manners. And one of those is all petitions for amendments to land use ordinances pursuant to the procedures set forth in Section 609. Any action on such petitions shall be deemed legislative acts, provided that nothing contained in this clause shall be deemed to enlarge or diminish existing law with reference to appeals to court. Furthermore, Section 601 of the MPC assigns responsibility for enacting or refusing to enact zoning ordinances to the local legislative body, stating, quote, "The governing body of each municipality in accordance with the conditions and procedures set forth in this act, may enact, amend, or repeal zoning ordinances to implement comprehensive plans and to accomplish any purposes of this act." Close quote. According to the courts, when a landowner makes a request for rezoning, the matter becomes a strictly legislative procedure. Furthermore, the decision to grant or deny an application for rezoning is a legislative act not subject to direct judicial review. Case law with respect to appeals for such legislative actions clearly and consistently hold that because courts have no power to interfere with that strictly legislative process, the determination to grant or deny a petition is solely a request for rezoning is not subject to direct judicial review. Essentially, your decision is legislative in nature, and you have the sole discretion ultimately to make that decision.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. We'll open the hearing now. This is petition requesting a change in zoning classification, Timothy M. Burkmeyer and Tammy Lynn Burkmeyer, for portions of properties located at 2055, 2103, 2155, and 2209 Edinburgh Road, consisting of approximately 4.6 acres, R3 moderate density residential, asking for the portions of the properties to be classified as C2 regional commercial. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Yes, Mr. Waldinger, go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission did recommend approval of this rezoning request.
Thank you, sir. Okay. We have someone wishing to speak on this matter, sir?
Good morning, Mike Sanford, 4721 Atlantic Avenue. I'm the surveyor that prepared the exhibit. You know, Mr. Burkmeyer spoke at the Planning Commission, I spoke. I'm sure you've seen the minutes of that meeting, so I'll just keep my comments brief. Mr. Burkmeyer is here, should you have any questions, and I can certainly give a longer presentation if need be. But just the highlights. With our submission, we provided a sketch of this area in question of what we would like to see rezoned. North of that area, it's C2. South of that area, it's R3. Mr. Burkmeyer had this same area rezoned in 2018. And again, north of it, it was commercial. South of it, it was residential. Township underwent the rezoning in 2021, 2022, and a portion of this was changed. So basically, the request is to put the zoning line back to where it was in 2018 when it was first approved by the township. And there is no change of the zoning along Route 99, and it just reinstates the zoning line to where it was in 2018. So we respectfully request approval, and we're here to answer any questions that your board may have.
Thank you, Mr. Sanford. Any questions or comments from the board? No?
No, I don't have any.
No question.
I don't either.
Okay, thank you.
Matt, I did have one question for you. I did read the minutes from the Planning Commission. Historically, there's been some neighbors that have been interested in, you know, what's going on up in that area with rezoning and in different aspects of that corridor. Were there any neighbors or did any residents speak for or against this at the Planning Commission meeting?
No residents. You're correct. Usually Meridian Drive has a few residents that will come out, but no one appeared for this hearing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions or comments further on this? Anyone else wishing to speak on this? Okay, we'll close the hearing then and call for a vote on this rezoning, or ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, moving on to bids and quotes. First one is sidewalk replacement project, Phase 2 bid announcement. Matt?
Yes, thank you. On April 3rd, 2023, the township opened the bids for the Mill Creek Township Sidewalk Replacement Project Phase 2. The following bids were received. Amendola Construction and Maintenance with a total lump sum price of $276,900. Blue Rock Construction, $317,800. Lindy Paving Incorporated, the bid of $236,925. Madcrete Construction LLC, $262,625. M&B Services LLC, $392,420.08. Presque Isle Concrete, $273,375. Vavala Concrete Construction, $322,874. And Empire Snow Management Incorporated, $218,905. These bids are currently being reviewed by township engineering staff, and the contract is anticipated to be awarded at the April 27th meeting, but we wanted to announce the bids that were received.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any questions or comments on these bids?
None here.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, 2023 Detention Basin Maintenance Bid Announcement and Award. Matt?
Thank you. Engineering Inspector Chris Brenner solicited quotes for the 2023 Detention Basin Maintenance Program for the township-maintained detention basins. This would involve brush hogging the ponds and removing the cuttings. 7 of the basins would be cut twice this season, and 1 of the basins would be cut once. 3 companies were contacted: Orengia Landscape, Country Landscape, and Manzi Services. Excuse me. Of those, only 1 company responded with a proposal, Manzi Services, with a quote of $17,151. It is recommended by the Planning and Development Department that we award the 2023 Detention Basin Maintenance Contract to Manzi Services for the price of $17,151.
Thank you, Matt. Is there a motion to approve this?
I just have a quick question, Mr.
Oh, go
Chairman.
ahead.
Matt, the detention basins that were chosen, how were those decided?
Those are basins that historically, as development has occurred, have been turned over to the township for the township to be required to maintain. So that this is just a maintenance program on those basins. One of the basins was removed this year that we typically do, the one in Love Farm. We felt that it could go, it typically is only cut once a year, and we felt it could go through a 2-year cycle without needing to be cut. So that was removed from this program, but the rest are ones that we have maintained annually, for many, many years.
And just so our residents know, this is to ensure this is something that we do in order to maintain the stormwater management and
Yes.
part of that
Yeah.
program that we have.
Correct, and it's more of a preventative maintenance. There's only 2 cuttings a year, once early in the season and once late, just to make sure that large trees and things don't take root that would damage the integrity of the basins. It's not an aesthetic cutting, it's not a once a week kind of lawn mowing. It's just keeping the taller weeds and grasses down.
And we've been doing this for how many years?
5
Okay.
years, yes.
So, yeah. So we have been doing something for stormwater in order to
Correct.
keep things clear. Nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
I think I would also add, just from a historical basis, I believe that for most of these, if not all of them, when they were handed over to the township, the developers paid money into the township to cover those costs. There was a formula that was followed, so the developers paid funds into that to help, fund this type of activity in the future.
Okay, great.
Okay, very good.
Thank
Is there
you.
a motion to approve Orengia Landscape for a bid of $17,500? Or Manzi?
Yes,
My
I'll
mistake.
make a motion to approve Manzi's bid.
I'll second.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next up, we have vinyl vehicle decals. Sam?
Yeah, the Community Relations and Sustainability Department is seeking approval to purchase new vinyl vehicle decals. The township vehicles only matching Mill Creek Township vinyl decals. These decals are vital as a role being roving communicators of the Mill Creek brand in the community. Creative Imprints has provided a quote for $1,825 at $730 per unit. The quote from Creative Imprints was the lowest quote obtained out of 4 from Howard Industries, Signs Now, Signs for Less, and Creative Imprints. This is a budgeted expense to be taken out of the CRS Communication Department budget. It is the recommendation of the CRS department to purchase these decals from Creative Imprints as a communication effort for the community.
Okay, thank you, Sam. I have a question about there appears to be a difference in the quote, under the heading in your request. It says $1,825 at $730 per unit.
Correct.
Then down under the actual quotes, it says 1,974. Okay, yeah.
That is with taxes applied.
Okay, so the unit price is $730 per unit,
Correct, yes.
but the total is actually the 19.
The total is 1974. That was an oversight on my part. Yeah, that is with
Okay.
taxes and fees
Okay,
applied, yeah.
taxes and fees. Okay, cool. All right. Any-
Excuse me, there should be no taxes. We
Oh,
are
okay.
tax exempt. And I'll get you what you need in order to get that corrected.
Of course.
Okay,
It was a separate line item anyway, so.
okay, so maybe then the 1825 is the correct one. I mean, I know it's minimal. I was just trying to clear up the discrepancy of that. You're right, Mark. Okay, we'll get that cleared up. So it's Creative Imprints was the...
Yeah.
um,
And they're the ones that we run through for the work shirts as well.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve Creative Imprints for the vinyl decals for the vehicles?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Now we move on to some exciting summer news. Asbury Park Tennis and Pickleball Courts. Ashley.
Yes, the Parks and Recreation Department is seeking approval for painting and lining the resurfaced court area of Asbury Park. Last year, the court area was resurfaced with fresh asphalt, and the Parks and Recreation Department would like to paint the surface and designate 2 areas of the court space. We'll put in 1 tennis court and 2 pickleball courts at this site. This space will allow for recreational play of both sports as well as instructional programming through our Parks and Recreation Department of both sports. A CoStar vendor was contacted, AstroTurf Corporation, and quoted the project at $24,465 under CoStar Contract 014-201. The court area resurfacing and painted was included in the Parks and Recreation Department capital budget. There was $50,000 allotted for this court work, leaving a budget surplus of $25,535. It is my recommendation to approve the painting and lining of the Asbury Park court space for mixed use of tennis and pickleball with AstroTurf Corporation for $24,465 under CoStar's Contract 014-201.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this as presented? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. I'm gonna have to learn how to play pickleball.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. And segueing into our next,
Yes, continuing on, the Parks and Recreation Department would also like to install 6 pickleball courts at the Zook Park location currently that is going to replace the tennis court area there. Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports across the country. After several meetings with the Parks and Recreation Commission, the Erie Pickleball Association, and several interested residents, it was determined that the Zook Park court site would be the best suited area for pickleball in Mill Creek Township. Many factors went into this decision, including but not limited to the usage of the park space by other programs, noise barriers, and centrality of this location. A quote for this project was received by a CoStar vendor, AstroTurf Corporation, for $24,550 under CoStar Contract 201, I believe it's the same. The Parks and Recreation capital budget surplus for court resurfacing will be used to cover this expense. Again, $25,535 was remaining in this line item, and after completion of this project, there will be a $985 surplus remaining. So it's my recommendation to approve the resurfacing and installation of 6 pickleball courts at Zook Park by AstroTurf Corporation for $24,550 under CoStar contract 041-201.
Ashley, do we know when this, after approval, when this would, when the courts are going to be up and running for play?
We are anticipating to get this project completed in May, and so I hope that they will be up for a full summer of use.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve this contract with AstroTurf as presented?
Yes, so moved.
Second?
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Glenwood Pump Station mechanical work. Rob?
Thank you. Good morning. The Sewer Department is seeking approval to hire Scobell Company Incorporated to do the mechanical work at the Glenwood Pump Station. This work includes the removal and installation of 3 pumps and valves and the installation of a new flow meter. The price for this work is $33,280 under CoStar's contract 008-E22-838. Funds for this project will be taken from the Sewer Department contingency line, as this project did come in over budget and we did not budget anything for the 2023 year. It is my recommendation to hire Scobell Company Incorporated for this work.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Is there a motion to approve this contract with Scobell as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Looks like there's a structure to demolish. Matt?
Yes, thank you. This is actually a retroactive request for an emergency demolition of a structure at, in the backyard at 4828 Conway Street. The demolition contract contractor was Summit Disposal Services LLC in the amount of $2,500. The Code Enforcement Office did seek additional proposals. However, other contractors declined to quote. This structure was a shed in the backyard. It was in imminent danger of collapse, and part of the structure had already fallen, and so it was decided to be removed in an emergency manner. This was demolished on April 3rd, 2023, and we're just seeking approval now to pay the invoice. This money will come from the demolition line item of the Planning and Development budget.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any questions or comments on this?
Just a quick comment, Matt, just to make it clear, this was a structure on the property that the township had made numerous efforts to get the property owner to take action, send out notices of violation and so forth, and it really was a last resort option from the township's perspective to proceed and demolish this building.
Yeah. Yes, you're correct, and it's my understanding that there were a couple of different deaths involved, both of the owner and of their heirs, and so we were not successful in getting this down. The price will be leaned against the property for recouping to the township when the property is sold.
That was going to be my question.
Thank you, Matt, for that information. And is there a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, next we have the agenda item that was added before our meeting, the police lockers. Carter?
Yes, back on January 24th, at the public meeting, the men's locker replacement project was approved and awarded to AJ Crack. However, it was discovered later that the lockers that they had quoted did not meet our needs due to lack of shelving. Crack subsequently found suitable lockers that are police specific that have shelving hooks and a hanging bar. This is an upcharge of $4,070.82 from the original quote, or about $140 per locker. The new project cost altogether with labor is $25,292.47, and this figure remains considerably lower than the next closest quote, which was a little over $39,000. So I recommend that we move forward with the project at the amended cost figure.
Okay, thank you, Carter. So it's the same vendor and the same concept, just adding the shelving?
Yes.
Okay, any questions or comments additionally on this?
None here.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, we have, looks like we have three new or amended ordinances under review. We have a sewer rental ordinance amendment, fireworks ordinance amendment, and the saldo amendment. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, turning first to the sewer ordinance amendment, Section 10223 of the sewer rental ordinance sets forth the quarterly rental rates and charges for services rendered by the township sewer system. However, pursuant to 53 PS Section 67511A, the Board of Supervisors is permitted to adopt the quarterly rental fee by resolution, and it is the current practice of the Board of Supervisors to adopt the quarterly sewer rental fee by resolution. The ordinance simply amends Section 102-23H to provide that sewer rates are fixed by resolution adopted by the Board of Supervisors. No action is needed at this time, and this ordinance will be on the agenda for the April 27th meeting. Next, we have proposed fireworks ordinance. Act 74 of 2022 was signed by the governor on July 11, 2022, and became effective on September 9 of 2022. Act 74 amends the fireworks law to allow Pennsylvania municipalities to restrict the use of consumer fireworks between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m., except on the following dates: July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and December 31, when they can be used until 1 a.m., and if July 4 falls on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, they may be used until 1 a.m. or on the immediately preceding or following Friday or Saturday. Act 74 also allows for penalties if an individual violates the act or a municipality's restrictions. The Chief of Police has recommended implementing these restrictions. The ordinance is still under consideration, and no action is needed at this time. And lastly, the subdivision and land development ordinance, or SALDO as you referenced. As part of the adoption of the comprehensive plan, it was recommended that the township update its zoning ordinance as well as its subdivision and land development ordinance. As you're aware, the township adopted the new zoning ordinance on April 28th, 2022, and since then, the Township Planning and Development Department has been working towards a new SALDO. The ordinance is still a work in process, but is reaching the point in time where it will be presented to the board and the public for review and consideration. Like the zoning ordinance, the SALDO must be adopted in accordance with the requirements of the municipality's planning code, which requires comment periods, public hearing before the Planning Commission, and a public hearing before the Board of Supervisors. The Planning and Development Department anticipates holding at least 2 open houses or information sessions concerning the updated SALDO prior to referring it to the Board of Supervisors to begin the adoption process. And there's no action at this time on that.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Next, number 9 on our agenda, Resolution 2023 R13. A resolution of Mill Creek Township, Erie County, Pennsylvania, to authorize the exoneration of taxes assessed against a parcel from which a mobile home was removed and deemed to have no value by the Erie County Bureau of Assessment. Mark?
Yes, we received the request from the county to exonerate the taxes for the years 2018 through 2020. It looks like it's an amount less than $10 that we're exonerating. And based on the pictures, there is no trailer there anymore, so it makes no sense to continue to assess taxes on a parcel that isn't being utilized. And I would recommend approval. We really can't deny approval for, unless we've got some truly legitimate reason.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any questions or comments on this? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2023 R13?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next up, Resolution 2023 R14, a resolution of Mill Creek Township, Erie County, Pennsylvania, to adopt a style guide of graphic standards. Sam?
Yes, the Department of Community Relations and Sustainability is seeking approval to approve the style guide outlined in 2023-R14. The style guide provides updated graphic standards for Mill Creek Township. This includes new designs, colors, font specifications, and more. There is already a stock of ready-made collateral utilizing the new design to help provide for a transition. It is my recommendation to approve this style guide so Mill Creek Township can begin utilizing it.
Thank you, Sam. Any questions or comments on this? Is there a motion to approve this Resolution 2023 R14?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We have a sidewalk deferral request, 3721 Zimmerly Road, Thomas and Patricia A. Potter, developer. Matt?
Yes, thank you. As you mentioned, the developer is building 2 new single-family dwellings. The developer is Thomas and Patricia Potter. They would like to defer construction of the sidewalks at 3721 Zimmerly Road. There currently are no sidewalks located in the neighborhood on adjacent lots, and no plans to construct sidewalks along Zimmerly Road at this time. So it is the recommendation of the Zoning and Development Officer to approve the request until such time that sidewalks are constructed.
Thank you, Matt. Is there a motion to approve this sidewalk deferral request?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Communications. Treasurer Communications. Mark, anything?
Nothing further at this time.
Okay, thank you. We have some hiring request. Get to my screen here. From Diane Lyons, our HR director. It's a rehire of Judy Zelina, Community Relations and Sustainability, part-time, $15 per hour, retroactive to April 4th. Judy was the previous Director of Public Services and worked for Mill Creek Township in that capacity for 18 years. She retired in February of 2023. So Judy has been kind enough to step in and offer her services on a part-time basis to fill in as needed up in the area, particularly up at the front desk and wherever needed at a rate of $15 an hour. And so I'd like to make a motion to formally approve this rehire for part-time work.
Sure. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, and we have a Parks and Rec request for Mill Creek Golf and Learning Center. Ashley?
Yes, thank you. The listed employee, Eric Bomba, is requested to be approved for rehire for a seasonal position with the Parks and Recreation Department for the Mill Creek Golf and Learning Center Maintenance Division. The position is budgeted for in the operational budget of the Parks and Recreation Department, and I recommend the approval of Eric at the approved seasonal part-time rate of $17 an hour.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this hire at $17 an hour?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, we have several training requests here from the Police Department. Chief?
Yes, sir. So I'll read these all together. The first is approval to send Corporal Schallenberger to a PA Vehicle Inspection Regulations Training Course held May 31st and June 1st at the Edinburgh Borough Building. There's no tuition to attend this course. And this training will bring Schallenberger up to date with current vehicle equipment regulations and is a must due to his assignment as the department's traffic section officer. Not only is he tasked with potential enforcement of these regulations, it's also his responsibility to answer questions from the public that may come in concerning these same issues. Because of the location, there are no travel costs. Second, I am seeking approval to send 4 SWAT officers to a one-day training course regarding tactical building entry and room clearing. The training is being provided by the PA State Police Western Tactical Team today at their training facility in Polk, Pennsylvania. A recent review of our SWAT practices and policies has identified building entry and room clearing as an area for improvement. The MPD SWAT Commander, Lieutenant Hardner, is recommending this training in order to implement a standard operating procedure and written policy concerning this topic. There's no cost to attend the training. There will be no overtime, and travel will be by department vehicle, and the officers to attend are Hardner, Corporal Caldwell, Detective Henderson, and Patrolman Spiker. Next, I'm seeking approval to send 11 officers to a 3-day training course called Incident Command System Level 300. The training is being provided by Erie County at no charge and will be held at the Kearsarge Fire Department May 3rd through 5th. There's been a change to the date that I had requested initially. So May 3rd through the 5th will be the training. And this course is required by FEMA for all mid-level response police supervisors and above. Officers in this category at MPD needing the training are Captain Sebulak, Lieutenant Chimera, Lieutenant Fallon, Lieutenant Farrick, Lieutenant Haynes, Lieutenant Hardner, Sergeant Irwin, Sergeant Parmenter, Sergeant Panighetti, Acting Sergeant Keller, and Acting Sergeant Mays. Again, this is a free training. No travel costs involved due to the location. And the final training request is to send Corporal Schallenberger to Traffic Crash Reconstruction Level 2. This course is August 14th through the 18th at the Erie County 911 Center. Now, I've gone through Traffic Crash Reconstruction 2 myself many years ago, Lieutenant Chimera as well, in our roles as Department Traffic Investigators. And in the past, we'd have to travel to Northwestern University Center for Public Safety in Illinois. Having the opportunity to send someone to a crash training locally is unprecedented and will cut down on our costs considerably. The only cost involved is a tuition at $895. And the training will further Schallenberger's skill sets not covered in Traffic Crash Reconstruction 1, such as vehicle impacts with poles, conservation of linear momentum, critical speed yaw analysis, and things of that sort. So because of the location, there are no travel costs, only the tuition. I recommend that this and all the other training requests be approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Is there a motion to approve these 4 training requests as presented?
Yes, so moved.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, we have a training request, Jefferson Civic Leadership Academy. Sam?
The Department of Community Relations and Sustainability is looking for approval for application to the Jefferson Civic Leadership Academy for myself, Communications Coordinator. We would like to apply to attend the Jefferson Civic Leadership Academy. The JCLA prepares Erie County professionals for meaningful, fulfilling, and impactful engagement in their community by providing a dynamic and unique environment for teamwork, growth, and learning through a transformative experience for those seeking to be change agents for their community. Attendees visit 7 countywide sessions with municipal leaders and attend a 2-day retreat to Harrisburg to meet with legislators. The cost is $1,500 and will be taken out of the communications portion of the CRS budget. Transportation costs, including the trip to Harrisburg, will be covered by the JCLA. It is my recommendation to apply to attend the JCLA as it broadens Mill Creek's connection to and understanding of the Erie County community and its role in broader global issues.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Is there a motion to approve this training request to the Jefferson Civic Leadership Academy?
Yes, so moved.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
I would just like to say that actually of those 7 locations around the county, Mill Creek Township is one of them. And that's actually how Sam was first introduced to the this program through the Jefferson. And he, of course, impressed the director of this program, Adam Welsh, so much that he actually reached out to me and to Sam and said, hey, would Sam be interested in this? So I think it really is a great way for us to connect with so many different people, industries, businesses, residents in all of Erie County. So thank you, Sam, for doing this.
Thank you. Okay, executive sessions were held on March 30th and April 5th. On March 30th, we discussed litigation matters regarding zoning hearing board matters, opioid settlement and orphans court petition, real estate matters for parks and rec facilities and utility easements, and public safety at township facilities. And on April 5th, litigation on zoning hearing board matters, ordinance enforcement, orphans court petition, and opioid settlement as well, and also real estate matters, parks and rec facilities, and utility easements. Anything further under solicitor communications, Mark?
Yes, I do. As you recall, and I think we've mentioned this previously, the township previously had participated in a national opioid settlement with a number of parties, and a couple months ago we got notice that there is a new settlement that involved Teva, Allergan, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart, and it was thought that we were part of that as well. We didn't receive anything from the settlement group. The county had put us on notice that things were being circulated. I reached out to them. They indicated that we weren't on their list, although I thought that we had been eligible to participate. So I inquired and pushed to get an answer. I received yesterday, late in the day, a response indicating that in fact we should have been on the list, and they submitted to us the documents that we need to execute before April 18th to participate in the settlement. The settlement is intended to assist municipalities in fighting the opioid epidemic, and so the settlement includes 2 manufacturers, Teva and Allergan, and 3 pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. Teva is going to be paying up to $3.34 billion over 13 years, and to provide either $1.2 billion of its generic version of the drug Narcan over 10 years, or an agreed-upon cash equivalent over 13 years. Allergan is to pay up to $2.02 billion over 7 years. CVS is to pay up to $4.9 billion over 10 years. Walgreens is to pay up to $5.52 billion over 15 years. And Walmart is to pay up to $2.74 billion in 2023, with all payments to be made within 6 years. These funds are going to be distributed nationally. They get distributed by state, and then the state then distributes it to the county, who then works with the participating municipalities to implement programs to respond to the opioid epidemic. The action required by the Board of Supervisors is to approve the execution of what's called the Subdivision and Special District Settlement Participation Form. There's a form for each of the 5 parties, Teva, Allergan, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. It's a standard kind of release form that, once we are executing and are participating in this, you're agreeing not to institute litigation against any of these parties with respect to opioids, and various things that are associated with this type of document. My recommendation would be to approve, for the township to approve entering into these settlements, and to authorize the chair to execute these settlement documents prior to April 18th of 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Sean. We have executed similar agreements in the past, correct?
Yes, I think might have been a year or 2 ago, there was another similar settlement with other parties that we participated in. And we participate in large part simply because of the size of our municipality. Is a trigger level for being eligible. That is the one trigger level. There's also the parties who had already been involved in litigation are also part of this settlement. So, as I indicated, the monies will ultimately get distributed to the states, who in turn then distribute them to the counties. They have a formula in place. Don't ask me to explain it. And hopefully, at some point, we'll start seeing some of the benefits of these funds in our community.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Okay, is there a motion to approve this settlement agreement and authorize the chair to execute the agreement as presented by Attorney Shaw.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Anything further, Mark, under solicitor?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman?
go ahead.
I have one form of communication that I would like to let everyone know.
Okay,
It had been presented to us here at Mill Creek Township that in accordance with the Land Recycling and Environmental Remediation Standard Act, the Mill Creek Township is allowed to request any involvement of our residents in the development and remediation of reused properties. So I did send a letter to the DEP and to the HIL LLC regarding the Glucker refrigerator remediation and reuse program. So,
okay,
and so they will then open that up to our residents, and the DEP then will be the ones engaging the residents on any and all remediation and reuse procedures.
where is that located?
The Glucker
The property
property.
in question.
The property in question, just give me 1 second here, is 3950 West 20th Street. And that's in Mill Creek, 16505.
Okay,
I believe its former name also was Thermo Shannon.
okay. All right, very good. Citizens to be heard. Any citizens wish to be heard today? Okay, just thought we'd offer. Next up, it says adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. We are adjourned at 10:17.